What we need is not more medications, but more education, because the best prescription is knowledge. This is Exposé coming to you live from Lagos, Nigeria, every Monday on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook simultaneously. I'm your regular host, Tony Akinyemi. Don't forget, what we need is not more medication, but more education, because the best prescription is knowledge. Hello and welcome to Exposé with Tony Akinyemi. I'm your regular host and my name is Tony Akinyemi. We started a series on teas and spices. We're currently in part A. We're discussing various types of teas. When we're done with this, then we'll look at a few spices that we can use to spice our food and spice up our lives. We're also looking at not just the different types of teas, but we're also examining their various health benefits. And I do hope that with the insight you have received from the beginning of this series, you have started, taking teas and loving your teas. We looked at 8 different types of teas. The 8th one being a group of teas. It's a whole category on its own, and it's called Herbal Teas. And so far, we have looked at 14 different types of herbal teas. Last week, we concluded with fennel tea. Now, today, I welcome you to the month of June 2025, and I pray that the month will open up to you, and in the course of this month, you will experience God's goodness, God's mercy, God's love, God's power, God's grace, God's favor, God's mercy. And you will see the provisions of God and protection from God. I pray that having had peace with God, you will equally enjoy the peace of God that passes understanding. That no matter the situation you're going through, no matter the challenges around your life, your circumstances, it doesn't matter the context. The peace of God that passes understanding will possess your soul. And the joy of the Lord will still be there, and it will be your strength. Hallelujah. All right. And so enjoy your teas, okay? And take advantage of all the benefits available. Today we are starting with the 15th herbal tea, and that is raspberry leaf tea. Raspberry. The tea made from the leaves of raspberry. What are the health benefits of raspberry leaf tea? Number one, it's often used as a tonic for women's health. Now, last week I did mention that when you name any particular herb, whether it is used as tea or as an infusion or as a decoction or an extract from that particular herb, the moment you mention the name of the herb, the first thing that crops up in my mind is probably the topmost health benefit derivable from that particular herb. Of course, you can derive quite a number of health benefits from one single herb. If you take one herb, it may be good for maybe 10 different things or 15 different things. But among the various things that that particular herb could be used for or used to address, one of them will usually stand out as the king of all the benefits. So like I said last week, when you mention dandelion or you mention milk thistle, in my own mind, and again, in the entire natural health community, the first thing that comes to mind is liver health, okay? So today, when you mention raspberry leaf tea, the first thing that comes to mind is women's health. It supports reproductive health, and it also helps to tone the womb, the uterus, and it helps to alleviate menstrual cramps. It can also, help to reduce heavy bleeding during menstruation. Raspberry leaf tea, yeah? So if you're experiencing any of those, you're experiencing cramps, you're experiencing heavy flow during your menstrual period, then raspberry leaf tea is a good tea for you to take, not just during your period, but probably throughout the month. It also provides a rich source of vitamins and minerals, by the way. It equally supports digestive health and helps to reduce bloating. And then when I say women's health, one of the things that, matter to women a lot is their skin, and maybe also their hair. If you want to make a woman unhappy, just do something to affect her hair or her skin. But if you want to make a woman happy, tell her how to make her skin to look nice and to glow and to make wrinkles disappear and make her hair to be long and strong and shining. Now, that's part of the beauty of women, their skin, their hair, and sometimes maybe their nails. And raspberry leaf tea promotes healthy skin. It helps to reduce the appearance of wrinkles. So I know that with all of these that I have said, women will start rushing to the grocery stores or to anywhere they can buy raspberry leaf tea and start taking it. And like I always suggest, when you're taking these herbal teas, please don't add milk to it, don't add refined sugar to it. You can just take it plain like that, but if you want some taste to it, sometimes you can add a little bit of lemon, or you can sweeten with maybe date, or sweeten with honey, or sweeten with grade A maple syrup. Or for those who are mindful of their blood sugar, you can use stevia, which is a very low calorie, almost 0 calorie sweetener, and it's natural. It's from a particular plant, the leaves of a plant. They just dry it, grind it, and then you use it to sweeten. And the beautiful thing about stevia, S-T-E-V-I-A, is that very little is just enough to sweeten. The only challenge is that it has an aftertaste in the mouth. After using stevia to sweeten whatever, when you take stevia, hours after you have finished drinking that thing, you still continue to perceive the flavor in your mouth. Sweetness, of course. And another side to stevia is that if you add too much, it turns bitter. So it doesn't want you to overdo it. Very little is just enough. All right, so enjoy your raspberry leaf tea. Women, of course, men too can enjoy it, everybody. Herbal tea number 16 that we're talking about today is valerian root tea, valerian root. Again, for me, anytime you hear valerian root, the number one benefit that comes to mind is something to address nervousness, anxiety, something to promote relaxation, to reduce stress, to reduce insomnia, to reduce anxiety. That's the first thing that comes to mind when you hear about valerian root. Okay? And it's the same thing with another particular herb that is called St. John's wort, W-O-R-T, St. John's wort. That is the herb that is an alternative to pharmaceutical antidepressants. So when you hear about St. John's wort, that is herbal antidepressant. Very mild herbal antidepressant, okay? When you hear about the herb feverfew, fever, F-E-V-E-R, and then F-E-W, one word, feverfew. That's another herb that is good for headaches and migraines. So any herb that you mention that I'm familiar with, something crops up as the number one and most popular benefit for that particular herb. So for valerian root, whether it is in tea form or in capsule form or in an extract, whatever way it is made, the first thing that comes to mind is that it may help to reduce anxiety, to promote relaxation, to aid in sleep, and even to improve your sleep quality. And so invariably, what we're saying is that it helps to address insomnia, particularly mild insomnia. Now, it also alleviates symptoms of menopause. That's another benefit for women there from valerian root tea. Menopausal symptoms like hot flashes, like mood swings, and all of that. It also has anti-inflammatory properties. So it can reduce inflammation and consequently reduce pain. And then, of course, it has some cardiovascular benefits as well. It can support heart health. It can lower blood pressure. And so you gain a lot from valerian root tea, particularly if you just want something that will calm you down when you're agitated. That is a go-to tea. Don't forget that we also mentioned one chamomile tea that also does similarly. All right. So we move on to number 17, herbal tea. And this one is a very, very popular one now. For the past 10, 15 years now, it has become the kid on the block. Popular particularly now in West Africa. And I see the trees like a shrub growing, in most homes, most compounds in Nigeria, particularly southwestern Nigeria where I live. All right? And I'm sure you're already trying to guess what that particular plant is or what that particular tea is. Well, I deliberately decided to keep you in suspense. Okay, that particular tea or that particular plant, the leaves of the plant, the seeds of the plant are used for many, many wonderful health benefits. Okay, the first time that one of my mentors spoke to me about this particular plant, he said they found out in the country of Sierra Leone in West Africa that those who were living with HIV, people living with HIV, when they fed them with food prepared with the leaves of this particular plant, it helped to bolster their immune system. It helped them to cope better with their status as people living with HIV. Not that it cures HIV, but it strengthens your immunity and does not allow the virus, the HIV virus, to overrun the person's immunity. So it's a particular wonderful plant, and it can be used in making soup. It can be, cold dried. That is, you don't dry it under the sun or on heat or in an oven. You dry it in a room where there is, fresh, cold drying, not heat drying. And then it's powdered into powder. It can be made into capsules. It can be added to smoothies. Different ways that it can be used. And it's rich in amino acids. It's rich in antioxidants. It's rich in minerals. It's rich in vitamins. And it grows so well in almost every state in Nigeria. It grows so well. And it's so easy to cultivate. In fact, I expect everybody, if you have space in your compound, to grow this particular tree. And by now, I know you know what I'm talking about. That's the Moringa tea, Moringa. Yeah, I actually was working on an article. I was working on an article on Moringa and the various benefits and different ways it can be used as far back as about 20 years ago or thereabouts. But I just decided to abandon it because almost everybody was talking about it, and I just didn't want to, join the bandwagon. So, but now, since we're talking about tea, Moringa comes on board. It can be made into tea, but one thing about Moringa and maybe some other teas as well that are rich in certain thermosensitive substances. When I say thermosensitive, you know what that means? Thermo talks about heat. So thermosensitivity means something that is sensitive to heat. In other words, heat can damage it. There are certain elements in Moringa that once you heat it, they are damaged. So when you're making Moringa leaf into tea, of course, there are certain things you are losing, particularly the water-soluble vitamins. But of course, the minerals are still intact in spite of the hot water you're going to be using to make the tea or whatever. So I would suggest that if you're going to be taking Moringa, don't just take only the tea. The tea is one way to take it. There are many other ways to take it so that you can get the array of benefits that this wonderful plant offers. It provides a rich source of vitamins, like I said, micronutrients, minerals and trace minerals, and a very, very powerful antioxidant. It's a very powerful source of antioxidants. And so it also supports liver health. It can promote detoxification. It also has anti-inflammatory properties that can help, to alleviate joint pains and other pains induced by inflammation. It can improve digestion, particularly the seed of moringa. If you just finish eating and you just take 2 or 3 seeds, you just chew it as if you're chewing, almond or chewing kola nut or something like that. The seed of moringa, it helps to aid and improve digestion and to reduce bloating. Please don't take too many seeds. Just 2 to 3 will be enough, all right? It also helps women, hear me good, it helps healthy skin. Of course, men too want to have, glowing skin, so it's not just women, but maybe women more. It promotes healthy skin, it reduces the appearance of wrinkles, and it definitely supports immune function. You want to boost your immunity? Moringa is a go-to plant. And the tea comes in very handy, and it's very easy to take. These days, I see people making moringa tea into tea bags, and they make it into different forms that you can just put in your teacup, just add hot water, sweeten it with appropriate sweetener, and sip your moringa tea away. Of course, like I said, find different other ways to use moringa. The fresh leaf can be juiced. It can be blended into your smoothie. I know people who use the leaf as part of the different vegetables they cook in various Nigerian vegetable soups. Okay, they just want to infuse moringa into whatever it is they are preparing to derive all the benefits. So you can eat it raw to get certain benefits, and then in its cooked form, either in tea form or in soup or in different things, to get all the other benefits. We'll be having a short break at this point, and very shortly after this break, I'll be back to let you know more about teas, particularly herbal teas. Don't go away.
Meet Emily. She is passionate about living a healthy life, but finds it difficult to access information on health and wellness.
Cancer is survivable.
That is until she discovered the online healthy living training offered by Reverend Tony Akinyemi on lms.rafainstitute.org. The online healthy living training program is a comprehensive interactive course that covers topics such as nutrition, fitness, stress management, and mental health. The course is designed to provide participants with practical tips and strategies to improve their health and well-being. Emily is now equipped with the knowledge and skills she needs to live a healthy life. Join Emily and countless others in living a healthy life by signing up for the online healthy living training program today.
Welcome back. This is still Exposé with Tony Akinyemi. What we need is not more medication, but more education. For the best prescription is knowledge. To be informed is to be transformed. That is if you make use of the information you have. And to be uninformed is to be deformed, because what you don't know may be killing you. My people, the Bible says, are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Many people have wounded or injured themselves. Many people have died needlessly simply because of what they didn't know. If only they knew, maybe things would have turned out differently. That's why it's important for us to seek knowledge, and not just to seek knowledge, but to find the right ways to apply the knowledge we have for our own benefit. All right, you shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. That's what the Bible says. And then the Bible also says in the book of Proverbs chapter 11, it says, for by knowledge shall the just be delivered. Okay, knowledge brings deliverance. It can deliver you from premature death. It can deliver you from needless suffering and pain. It can deliver you from many afflictions if you know what to do and you actually do it. Okay, Jesus said to a group of people listening to him, somebody said, oh, blessed is the womb that bore you, and blessed is the breast that fed you. And Jesus said, even more blessed are those who hear my words and do them. Okay, don't be a hearer only. Transition into the club of doers of the word. On a lighter note, one of my friends will say, be a hearer and doer. A hearer and doer. I say, hey, oh boy, no be doer, na doer. Be a hearer and doer of the word. So as you receive knowledge, as you receive information, put it into action, put it into practice. Okay? That's why lately, some of the books that I released lately, at the end of each chapter, I will put, a blank ruled page there. And I will say, write out the actions that you will take as a result of the knowledge that you have gained from reading this chapter. So at the end of each chapter, you're supposed to write in bullet form 1, 2, 3, 4 action points, things to do with the information that I have received from this chapter. That is how to benefit from information and from knowledge. And in the same vein, as you listen to Exposé with Tony Akinyemi, every Monday evening, 8:30 p.m. West African time, you need to do likewise. Always glean out action points, things to do, things to put into practice, things to stop doing in your life, things to commence doing in your life. Okay? I shared the PAINT model, on different platforms that I developed. I call it the PAINT model, P-A-I-N-T, something that must be perpetuated, something that you must continue to do. Oh, that thing you mentioned, I have already started doing it. So now that you have enlightened me on the benefits, I will continue. I will not let it stop. That is perpetuate. Make sure it doesn't stop, okay? All right? You must perpetuate certain things. Make sure they are always, always, always going. And then there are some things that you need to attenuate, okay? That means, yes, you need to do them, but don't overdo them. Take it easy, reduce them. You need to reduce stress in your life, workaholism. You need to reduce that. Come on, relax, particularly when you reach a certain age. The Bible says, I said the Bible says, I'm a pastor, so sometimes that comes out of my mouth all the time. Now, somebody said, when you're young, it is the policeman that tells you to slow down. But when you're old, it is your doctor that tells you to slow down. I'm sure you understand that. Young people, when they start learning how to drive, when they get on the wheel, they think speeding is all about driving, or driving is all about speeding. They just want to speed and speed at 120, 150, 140 kilometers per hour. They think that is what driving is all about. And they always get caught by the policeman or by the camera, the speed camera. And so they get tickets and get tickets and get tickets until they mellow. After they pay fines, then they start mellowing down. So when you're young, it's either the policeman or traffic fines, overspeeding fines, that teaches you to slow down. But when you're getting older, it is your doctor that usually teaches you to slow down. Say, take it easy. You're now in your 50s, in your 60s, in your 70s. Take it easy. You don't have that shock absorber, that level of energy that you used to have when you were younger. So take it easy. Settle down and relax and sip your tea. So let's talk about herbal tea number 18 right now. I got carried away there just gisting with you. Okay, let's talk about Passionflower tea. It also has wonderful, wonderful benefits. Again, it's one of those herbs, or this time around flower, okay, that actually elicits a particular, item in my mind. When I hear Passionflower, what's the first benefit that comes to mind? It is something to relieve anxiety and promote relaxation. Just like the other ones I've mentioned, like chamomile tea, like Valerian tea. These are all teas and herbs that help to relax. The same thing with lavender. These are all herbs for relaxation and the relief of anxiety. Of course, if anxiety is caused by certain factors, taking these things may give you just a temporary, relief, maybe for 1 hour or two, until you address the root cause of the anxiety. I have seen people whose bodies were, loaded with toxic metals, lead, mercury, arsenic, cadmium, aluminum. I've done a series on Exposé on toxic metals. So if you want to refresh your mind, you can go back to those episodes and listen to them again. If somebody, for example, has a lot of lead in their body, and that's what is giving them agitation and anxiety, okay, and you give them all these teas that help to relieve anxiety, you give them chamomile tea, you give them Valerian tea, you give them Passionflower tea, it may momentarily help to relax, but it doesn't solve the problem until the person gets rid of the heavy metals in the body, doing heavy metal chelation. There are different ways to do that. I've discussed that in a previous episode, so please revisit it. But Passionflower tea may help to relieve anxiety and promote relaxation. Of course, several clinical trials have also demonstrated that the tea could effectively reduce anxiety with far less risk of side effects than prescription anti-anxiety medications. In fact, when the effects of Passionflower tea were compared to a commonly prescribed anxiety drug, the researchers found that it was equally as effective as that pharmaceutical drug. And that's not all. One study concluded that Passionflower tea used alongside a detox drug, something to detox the body, that is called clonidine. Okay? They found out that it could help to treat and relieve many of the symptoms suffered by people going through withdrawal from opioid. All right? And these symptoms include things like anxiety, like agitation, like irritability, and what have you. So when they use that drug to try to detox the drug, the opioid, from the body of people, and they also give them Passionflower tea in addition to that drug, it actually helps to relieve many of their symptoms, and it works much better synergistically. Now, Passionflower tea, consequently, because it relaxes, okay, and tempers anxiety, consequently can help to improve sleep and reduce insomnia. And several studies have revealed that drinking a few cups of Passionflower tea each day can actually lead to a significant improvement in sleep quality. Some people are shallow sleepers. They sleep, and even if you open the door gently, they will spring out of their sleep. They don't sleep deep. Okay, maybe sometimes we talk about sleep. There are different levels of sleep. We have REM sleep, we have NREM sleep, and all of that. That is rapid eye movement sleep and non-rapid eye movement sleep. And there are different levels and depths and dimensions of sleep, and there are different benefits at each level. Some people are shallow sleepers, so I encourage you to drink Passionflower tea. It will help to improve the quality of your sleep, okay? And then Passionflower tea also helps to alleviate symptoms of menopause. So it's also good for women, such as hot flashes and mood swings, particularly women in their perimenopausal and menopausal years. It also reduces inflammation and thereby can reduce pain. And as well, Passionflower tea is also good for our cardiovascular health. In other words, it supports heart health, it lowers blood pressure. Now, let me talk about another herbal tea that is good for, relaxation, dealing with anxiety. I mentioned Valerian. I mentioned Passionflower. Those are three, at least, among the various ones I have mentioned that are very good, specific to relaxation and reducing anxiety. Another one is lavender tea. I mentioned it earlier today. Lavender. Lavender oil is very, very powerful. It comes in different ways. Lavender oil can be used for, you can put it in your different, as an essential oil. It can be diffused into the room. It can be diffused in your car. Some cars have these diffusers that you can put into the socket where your cigarette lighter is. You can plug your diffuser there, and you put some lavender oil in there, and it just diffuses it into the air. So you inhale it, and it relaxes you. You can use a diffuser in your bedroom when you're sleeping, and it can relax you. Lavender oil also comes in capsule form, in gel capsule form. It's like fish oil, gel capsule. And it can be taken orally, again, to address anxiety, to address, different kinds of things like that, nervousness and what have you. Now, lavender tea can also do similarly, apart from the lavender oil. It reduces anxiety, it promotes relaxation, it can improve sleep quality. Of course, that means it's reducing insomnia. Lavender tea is largely associated with promoting mental well-being and relaxing the mind. When your mind is, cluttered and clustered, and, you're just getting to the point of confusion and, God forbid, mental breakdown. Please relax, take a break, and sip your lavender tea. Okay? It helps with anxiety. It helps with stress. It addresses insomnia. And there's some research to support these uses. It's not just folklore medicine. There's a lot of research to support it. Okay? One study published in the year 2011 actually found that the scent of lavender could significantly reduce stress levels in patients, before being injected with a needle. There was one video I was seeing, I think somebody forwarded it to me on WhatsApp, where a little baby, a little child, probably under 1 year old, they wanted to inject the baby in her bum, and the doctor was, they didn't use anesthesia, they were playing with the baby, and then they used this very tiny little, almost like a sting, until they injected the baby and removed the injection. The baby did not realize that they had already injected her. And they also found in one study in 2011 that before somebody is injected with an injection, maybe particularly those who are always almost getting frigid when they want to take an injection. So if you allow them to inhale lavender scent, for a few minutes before they take their injection, it helps to relax them and make them, more relaxed when they are being injected. The patients who inhaled lavender also experienced a reduction in pain when the needles for the injection were inserted to inject them. All right, lavender tea, very, very wonderful tea to help in your relaxation and deal with anxiety. I have, recommended lavender gel capsule, lavender oil for diffusion, to many people with wonderful, wonderful feedback. All right, wonderful feedback. There are different brands. You can go online and shop for them, or any good health store if you want the gel capsule. One of them is called Lavella. That's the name of the brand, Lavella, L-A-V-E-L-A, Lavella. Another one is called Calm Aid, C-A-L-M, then A-I-D, Calm Aid. That's another brand. Different companies make, but at least those two brands, I have used them with good effect, recommending it for people and all of that. When I have also been stressed and agitated, I have used Lavella, I have used Calm Aid personally for good effect as well. Anytime you are under stress, go for lavender tea. Now, although this and many other studies into stress and stress relief benefits of lavender actually use the oil inhalation to inhale the oil. So inhaling the vapors from your tea can also have an equally positive effect. When you make lavender tea, apart from drinking the tea, the steam that is coming from, the tea, you can also inhale it. Lavender tea can reduce anxiety. It can help to calm your mind before bed to ensure you get a good night of sleep. And if you're finding it difficult to get to sleep or find yourself constantly stressed and anxious, why not try a few cups of lavender tea and see whether it works for you? Okay? Make sure that you inhale the soothing vapors deeply as well. As you are drinking, you are inhaling the aroma as well. It may also help to alleviate headaches and migraines. That's lavender tea. It can soothe digestive issues such as bloating and indigestion. And of course, it also reduces inflammation. It promotes healthy skin as well. I mean, lavender tea is loaded and loaded and loaded, and you want to try it. So do it and give me your feedback to the glory of God. Let me hear your feedback. And those of you who may have tried the previous ones we discussed, the previous teas, I want to see you typing in the chat room now. Go ahead and type in the chat room. Go ahead and type in the chat room. Let me get your feedback. How did you enjoy it? You know, some people are not used to the different flavors. But with time, you know, your taste bud will adjust, because what we have found out is that our taste bud, when we were born as infants, as little babies, the taste buds on our tongue was more or less neutral. It didn't have preferences for any particular flavor. It is as we start growing and they start putting different kinds of foods in our mouth that our taste buds get programmed and trained to get used to and start loving different flavors. So you can retrain your taste bud. You can stop loving the taste of certain things that you shouldn't be taking, and you can retrain your taste bud to start loving the flavor of certain things that you should be taking. All right? I eat cucumber easily right now, even though it's almost tasteless, but then now I enjoy it, but in the past I wouldn't. Okay? There are certain things that I take now that I probably wouldn't take, you know, in the past when I was younger, but now that I know the benefits, I have retrained my taste bud to love them. Now, my taste bud has been so retrained that I don't fancy certain spices in food anymore, particularly those chemical spices, monosodium glutamate and what have you. Now I enjoy the taste and the flavor of herbal spices, okay? Also the same thing with herbal teas. I enjoy different flavors, all right? Today now, for example, I have my peppermint tea right here. This is peppermint tea with my straw that I just sip. Wow. Tomorrow, it might be lemon tea. The next time, it might be chamomile tea. It might be lavender tea. It might be passionflower tea. Just, you know, walk through all of them and find the ones that are most beneficial for your particular health situation and those that probably agree with your flavor the most and that you are not allergic to. Thank you for spending your Monday evening with me today. The Lord bless you. Have a terrific week, a testimony-filled week, and meet me same time, same platform next week. God bless you.
Meet Emily. She is passionate about living a healthy life, but finds it difficult to access information on health and wellness.
Cancer is survivable.
That is until she discovered the online healthy living training offered by Reverend Tony Akinyemi on lms.rafainstitute.org. The online healthy living training program is a comprehensive interactive course that covers topics such as nutrition, fitness, stress management, and mental health. The course is designed to provide participants with practical tips and strategies to improve their health and well-being. Emily is now equipped with the knowledge and skills she needs to live a healthy life. Join Emily and countless others in living a healthy life by signing up for the online healthy living training program today.